Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while, okay? We had a lot going on. If you've been watching my previous videos, we are 6 months postpartum right now. 6 months pumping and breastfeeding. It's been a crazy journey. I was gonna make a whole vlog about my wedding. We got married when I was, I think, 7 months pregnant, so I was a big girl, okay? It was a crazy day, but I'm gonna try to catch you guys up. But yeah, your girl is a wifey and a mommy now, okay? So it's been a fun journey, but today I want to talk to you guys about my birth story, like how everything went. If you guys watched the previous videos or if you follow me on Instagram, you know that my baby had a heart condition that was called TGA, which is the transposition of the Great Arteries. Pretty much it just means that his arteries were parallel instead of crossed on his heart, so he wouldn't get he wouldn't get oxygen through his body, which was fine while he was in the belly, but not fine once he was born, meaning he would have needed open heart surgery once he was born. So I'm not gonna go into the surgery and all the post-op after that. That's gonna be on our next episode. But today, a lot of people had me asking about like how it went with the birth and everything. So I'm gonna share a little bit about all of that. So everything started, no, I'm kidding. But yes, we were scheduled, so to be 42 weeks, it would have been December 28th, but we were scheduled to have an induction a week before due to the heart issues that my baby had, to make sure that everything was gonna go safely and smoothly and that they would have some days to watch over him before the surgery. But they ended up changing to December 21st to go in to get like my cervix, to start like the softening of the cervix pretty much. And then that day started with a really, really great mushroom and Swiss burger from Culver's, okay? Sponsor me. No, I'm kidding. I don't need that because your girl is trying to be a hot mama now. But yeah, that's how it started. On the way to the hospital, I got my favorite unhealthy meal. And I got at the hospital, I think it was around 1. We started, I have like my notes here because I'm in bed with like hours, that kind of stuff. But I checked in at the hospital at 1, and then I started my cytotech at 3 p.m. I had like 0 dilation at the time. They did mention that the baby was kind of sitting low and that my cervix was starting to soften before that, but no dilation or anything like that. At first, it wasn't too painful. They started me with like this cytotech, like the little tablets that go under your tongue. And it wasn't crazy painful at first. It was more like period pains. The contractions were about like 2 minutes apart, like after a few hours. And like I said, it wasn't crazy painful. It was very like doable. I was doing my exercises on the ball. I had like a Christian hypnobirth app that would play like Christian like meditations pretty much. And that got me over the night, so I'm gonna tag like the app. There's no like affiliate code or anything like that. It was just a great app with some awesome audios to get me through the night. But the first few hours were okay. It was like mild contractions, and then they wanted to like slowly get me up to speed to give birth in the morning. So that was the plan at first. And then I remember that before we even started the cytotech, the first doctor that we had, she came in and she offered me the C-section right away. And I don't remember if I talked to you guys about this before, but I was like the all-natural girly. You know, I had taken all the courses. I had an amazing doula, Brandy, amazing. Okay, if in the area, great doula. But she was awesome. So I had like all the exercises, everything planned for it. Like I wanted to go natural so bad. So I was already prepared. I'm like, if they offer me a C-section, I'm gonna say no, and I got this, you know? But of course, like I was wise about it and I prayed about it. And I was like, if my life is a risk or the baby's life is a risk, even more due to the heart problem that he had, of course, let me know and I'll be willing to do the C-section. That's pretty much what I told them. So again, it was like at 3 p.m. and then I have it here that like at 9 p.m. they had like one of the checks and I was 0 centimeters dilated. At that point, the pain was starting to get a little bit worse. It was kind of uncomfortable, like I couldn't really lay on my back. I was getting like lower back pain. My tailbone hurt really bad, so I couldn't really like lay down on my back. I had to like lay down sideways. Lots of ball exercises, lots of waking up my husband and asking for help to go to the restroom, walking around the room, lunges, everything. You know, I had the whole plan down and I was like, I got this. That was my attitude for a lot of hours. So it started getting worse. It was really like overnight. Like once they hit like 12 or 1 a.m., The contractions felt really, really painful. I would cry a little bit here and there, but in my mind, I'm like, I still got this. Like, we can do this. God is with me. The Christian Hypnobirth app was amazing because it just went through a lot of scriptures about that. And I felt like I could do it. You know, it was very, very painful, not gonna lie, but I felt like I could do it. And then in the morning time, they had offered me, I think it was like 8 or 9 a.m. They told me that I was still less than 1 centimeter dilated. So that's when I started getting scared, because it had been like 16, 17 hours that I had started the induction process. And it was really painful, and I was only 1 centimeter. And I was like, oh God, like I can do this, but I can't do this for days, you know? And I remember the doctor came in, and at first he was like, we can do like the IV pain meds, which I was kind of against it because I was scared of feeling like a little woozy, you know, and I wanted to be present for the birth of my son. So they offered me that, the gas, and I was still like, just, I got this, I can do this. I was trying my best, but it was really painful. And then I think it was around 10 a.m. I'm trying to see. I think I was at 2 or 3 doses of Cytotec already. Yeah, it was around 9, 10 a.m. And then the doctor that came in told me that he would recommend for me to do the water breaking process, that he didn't think that I was gonna dilate fast enough, and they're probably gonna have to start Pitocin soon, and that I could be in labor for a whole other day. So that was pretty scary, because I was like, I felt like a lot of pain, but I was like, I still felt like I could do that. So I talked it over with my husband, tried to push it back the most that I can, because I was really trying to be like educated for the whole experience. But I kind of knew that if they broke my water, that would like raise the chances of a C-section. I was trying my best to do like the vaginal delivery. I wanted to go through the experience as a mom. And of course, this whole time I'm talking to my doula, which was my defender, okay? She was so great. She really helped me make like informed decisions about everything, to not let them pressure me into anything I didn't want to do, of course, unless it was unsafe for the baby, because I wasn't prideful like that. I just, from what I had talked to the other doctors, it would have been better if I could do a vaginal delivery, but not like significantly better where I should risk my life or his life, of course. So it was around 10 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. that they told me that we're gonna come in, like we made a decision that we're gonna do that they would break my water, because they wanted to put monitors in, like the one that goes on the baby's head, to monitor his heart rate, that kind of stuff. And then they offered me the epidural. They pretty much told me like, of course it's your choice to do the epidural, but if we don't do it and you have an emergency C-section, it could happen that you might have to be able to be put to sleep if I couldn't stay still for the epidural. And I did not want to risk that, because my main thing is I didn't want to be like woozy or asleep whenever my baby came out. I wanted to hear like the first, I'm trying to not get emotional. I know I'm gonna get emotional once I get there, but I wanted to hear like the crying baby when he comes out, have that magical memory and moments with him. So I was like, okay. So I accepted the epidural at that time. They came in. It was kind of funny because I remember they flipped me sideways, and the doctor was like, I think you have scoliosis. And I had a really bad, not really bad, but I had a pretty bad car accident a few years before that. And it messed up my back pretty bad. Like my spine after the car accident was like this. So I did a lot of chiropractors visits, a lot of stuff, but I kind of knew, and it made me giggle a little bit when he said that. I was like, yeah, I know that. But they did the numbing first and then the epidural. It was painful, but not like crazy painful. I think it was more like uncomfortable, like a feeling of going, like a needle going on your back. Not the most fun moment of my life, but we had an amazing doctor, and he, from what I remember, it was pretty smooth. Like he got it done like on the first try. And it burned a little bit, and then they talked to me about all the side effects, to let them know if I was feeling certain things. Anyways, so as soon as that kind of kicked in, we had the new doctor that was like the shift had switched, right? Came in to break the water. Since I had the epidural, that wasn't painful at all. Like you could just feel like the water breaking. But it was more like a weird feeling, like a lot of pressure, but not like super painful or anything like that. And then they put the monitors on the baby, and I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember if they started Pitocin or not, but I had pretty strong contractions at that point. My doula was already there helping me with all the positions, putting like the peanut ball in between my legs, helping me turn sideways, turn the other side, all of that. And she was amazing because I was feeling like, I was kind of disappointed, you know, because I wanted to do it all natural. So of course I felt some type of way about that, you know, and she really helped me with like, I already had a lot of guilty conscious like throughout the whole process because I felt like weak by saying yes, but I didn't want to put my baby's health at risk at any point. So she helped me with all of that. And I remember that I think it was 12 or 1 p.m. It started getting a little scary. And I remember around like 12, like around noon, people were a lot more worried. Like you could see the vibe in the room was changing, you know, like they were constantly watching the contractions, constantly watching the baby's like heart rate and everything. And there was one moment where a bunch of people like rushed into the room and they gave me like a 10-second warning and helped me like flipped over on like all fours. And they said that the baby heart, I don't know if it has stopped or just dropped like really low. And they pretty much got me on all fours. They were moving my belly and then the heart rate came up. And that was super, super scary. I was terrified, like, to be honest, but I think it was so much going on that I was trying to pay attention to everything that they were saying so I could have like informed consent over the whole process. And then the doctor came in a few minutes after that, talked to me about a C-section, and he was like, listen, to be completely honest, we don't know how much longer the baby can take this. This is not about you anymore. This is about his heart. And what I remember from every course that I had taken is to not do anything impulsive. So I just asked him for like a few seconds to talk to my husband. He left the room. I talked to my husband. My doula gave me amazing, amazing emotional support over the whole process. And I cried a lot. Like, I was crying a lot. First, because I was scared because his heart rate dropped. And now, of course, like a scary situation. Then second, I felt like kind of disappointed in myself, felt like I wasn't doing things right, which I think a lot of women feel like that. So I wanted to share that because I think that that's completely normal if you are pregnant or if you went through this. Hopefully you do have like a good emotional support team in your family to help you through that, because that was rough on me. But I'm super thankful because I think God gave me exactly the right people to be there with me and to give me that support. But it was hard. And then I remember I said yes to the C-section, of course, and once they told me that. And then from there, it was pretty fast. Like, they kind of prepped me for the C-section. The nurses were really, really nice. They informed me of everything. Like, I felt like I knew exactly what was gonna go on step by step. They took my husband to go get scrubbed in, get the little hospital outfit and everything, to be able to go into the room with me. And I get emotional and I start like forgetting stuff. But then they took me into the operation room, and whoever was the girl that wasn't there before me, she was popping like some music because they had Beyonce. I remember like walking in and they had Beyonce. I think it was Halo. Like, I remember hearing that. And the doctor asked me, one of the nurses asked me what kind of songs I wanted to play. And I was like, girl, you need to get the Beyonce out of here. No hate on Beyonce, you know, but I need some worship music. I need God to be in here. And I need all of y'all to be like together with me in this worship moment. I was so nervous for everything. Maybe not for the C-section itself, but I was nervous about how it was gonna be when he came out, all of like his whole situation. So I was just like holding on like to God's hand. I was like, you better be with me on this. But I was scared, but I think for the situation that we had, I was like doing a lot better, because I remember like one of the things that our pastor said to us the most was he prayed for peace beyond understanding. And that's what I felt through the whole process. Like, even the moments that I would get like really scared, I have a hard time talking about it, but I felt that peace, you know. And I asked for worship, and it was a song by like Brandon Lake. I can't exactly remember what song it was, but I remember they put it on, and it was the sweetest thing because the guy who does the pain meds, I think it's anesthesiology or something like that, but that guy and two of the nurses, they were singing and worshiping, and I was like, I know that's right. Like, this is the environment that I need. And from that point on, I wasn't like scared anymore. I just really wanted to hear his cry, and I wanted to hear that everything was gonna be okay. And then a heads up for the girls that are pregnant, I was shaking so much. Like once like it got to like that point, and I think they were pumping up my epidural, of course, my whole body was shaking. Like they had these little handles on the side of like on the bed, right? So I could hold on to them. At first I was like, you guys are about to handcuff me to this bed or something? But he was like, no, this is just for you to hold on to it. Because my hands were like shaking uncontrollably. It was pretty crazy. And I wanted to throw up. I felt so nauseous. And like, I'm such a like a people pleaser that I was like scared to ask for like a throw up bag. And the anesthesiologist, I feel like I hope I'm saying this right, but he was such a great guy. And then he put it right beside my head. And my husband was amazing, like the whole time. Like he was holding my hand and speaking truth. Just the whole time he was just holding my hand and just like speaking life into me. He's speaking Bible verses and being there for me. And sorry about the dishwasher, but it was insanely perfect. Like I think God's plan is just so amazing. It's so much better than what we think it could be. Like it was better than anything I could have prayed for. And it was super sweet because my husband had the meta glasses on, so he was able to capture, I'm gonna ask him if it's okay to put that clip in here, but he was able to capture my face as he was talking to me and our baby. And this was the funny part, because right before I went in, like they told me to not have my contacts in, and your girl's a little bit blind. Your girl can't see. And my mom, because she knows I love to like register moments, she was like, don't wear your glasses because how are you gonna get the picture and stuff? I was like, at this point, I do not care. I'm blind. I need my glasses because I know I might only have a few seconds to see that baby before they take him out to the exam room, because with his heart condition, we didn't really know if it could be an emergency surgery is what they told us. The plan was for him to wait a few days after he was born to get strong, get chunky, but it depended on how his heart was gonna be whenever he was born. And I was so happy that I wore my glasses. So I look a little bit like nerdy because I got some Harry Potter glasses that I need to update. But I remember his first cry, and I remember my husband talking to me, talking about that moment. And the nurse came around, like the little cloth where they block you so you can't see yourself being cut open. And she was like, okay, mama, just look at me real quick. We're gonna pass with the baby so you can see him and take him to go do like the heart exam and make sure that everything is okay. So they brought him around. I seen him. It was surreal. Like if you talk about like, you know, like how sounds, people say like songs sometimes get stuck in your memory. I'll never forget the sound of my baby crying for the first time. Like all of the guilt that I had through that process before and feeling guilty about not being able to deliver him the way that I wanted, all of that went away. And it just, everything felt worth it, you know? And it's life-changing. It's like, yeah, like I felt like I was a mom once I got pregnant, but once he was out here and I realized I was responsible for a brand new life, it was insane.
What's our time?
He was born December 22nd at 2:27 p.m.
1 minute.
Okay, Mom. He's already crying.
Alright, Mommy, when he comes over here, look very quickly this way, and then we're going to take him over to the NICU, okay? He's a baby. Here he is.
And from that moment on, like when I looked at him, I was so madly in love with my cutie pie. And they took him over to the room, which was right beside it. I couldn't see him because, of course, I'm still on the operation table. But in a few minutes, they did a couple tests, and they let my husband go in there to cut his umbilical cord. He was born with 8 pounds and 2 ounces, I believe. And he was a big baby boy, you know. Even 1 week earlier with his heart problems, sometimes they come out like skinnier and lighter, you know, it depends. But he came out super chunky already. And he's even chunkier now, if you guys see pictures of him now. But it was a crazy experience. And then they took us to the post-op room after that, where they were like evaluating my heart rate, doing a bunch of tests, and and they had to do a bunch of things with the baby where my husband couldn't be there for that. So as soon as my husband was clear to go, he went to see the baby, and they took me into my room. I wasn't allowed to leave yet because I was still in like post-op care, and the baby was taken to NICU at first. And I was so excited to see him. My husband is sending me pictures of Alejandro and videos, and it was a surreal moment. But they took him there, and I remember that I had like the most amazing nurses, because he was at the NICU, but they had a separate part of the hospital that was called, I think it was called PICU, where they take the babies that are gonna have like heart problems or heart surgeries, that kind of stuff. And that was in the same hospital, but there was like a bridge that would connect that to a different building in the hospital. And I remember like at night, my nurse came in running and she was like, listen, you're not supposed to leave the room yet. You can't walk, but if you want, I can put you in a wheelchair and we can run over to the NICU before they take him. And they let my parents in, my in-laws in. And I remember like getting up, I was in so much pain. I remember getting up, just sit on the wheelchair, and then like rushing me over. My nurse was like running, like I kid you not, she was running to get me there. When I got there, like God is so amazing, he's so real. Like I remember getting there and they were about to take him off, meaning I wouldn't be able to even see him until the next day. And of course I wanted to see him, you know, I'm already not getting my cuddles. But I wanted to see him, and I got there, he was already in the little incubator, like on wheels, where they were about to take him to the PICU. And they opened the little hole on it so I could hold his hand, and he wrapped his little fingers around my hand. And it was such an amazing feeling.
Okay, thank you.
It was definitely like different, of course, because it's hard to say like that I'm jealous, but I did have a little bit of a jealous feeling, like hearing the babies crying on the post-op like session, you know, when you have your baby where you stay for a few days. And I was like, oh my God, how I wish that my baby could be there with me. But I was so happy that I got to see him before they took him. And it was a magical moment. I'll see if I have pictures to put in here, but it was magical. And like all the pain went away when I was in there with him. I got to pray for him. And it was beautiful. Oh, it was crazy. But anyways, after that, they took me back to like the mom side of the hospital, you know, and I slept in there. My mom stayed there every night with me and helped me with everything. And then my husband stayed at the PICU. So at the PICU, all they had was like a chair that reclined a little bit. So they were like, you can't stay overnight, because I'm still like on post-op like watch pretty much. And they didn't recommend me staying in the chair. But my husband was such a trooper. My husband would work all day and then go spend the night with him. Well, he had the first days off. But after like the whole post-op, we were there for a few weeks. And I'm so thankful for everything, because I'm thankful that my husband is so amazing that he didn't complain one day. He didn't let our baby boy be alone for one day. And then my mom stayed with me overnight. My dad was bringing us food. Like we had such an amazing support system. The best support system was God, of course, but we had such an amazing support system from my parents and his parents. But anyways, that's how it went. I'm like trying my best to like hold in my cry, because I'm an ugly crier, you know, so I'm just trying to not get choked up. Well, I already got choked up, but not be crying, bawling my eyes in here. But yeah, it was a crazy experience. But I'll give you guys like more on like the surgery, how the process was with us, his recovery. But no matter what, just good news. He is doing amazing. He's a super chunky, healthy boy now. He's 6 months old. 2 days ago from the recording of this video was the 6-month anniversary from his heart surgery. So he's been doing really good. But yeah, that was my birthing story. I hope if you're pregnant, I hope that this can help you like give some tips and prepare you for this experience. It's definitely a crazy experience, I'm not gonna lie, but the best tips that I could give for anybody going through that is to have a good doula, to do all the videos and education that you can before, so you can be informed about all the experiences, but also to let God guide you through that process. You know, like sometimes we learn so many things and we want to do everything through our hands, but sometimes that's not the plan that can happen. So that's the best advice that I could give, that if you do have an emergency C-section or a change of plans last minute, your health and your baby's health is always the most important thing. So don't let that guilt get to you. Don't let you feel like less than a mom because of the type of birth that you gave. None of that changes the experience that you just went through a life-changing moment, and that you get to become a mom to the thing that you're gonna love the most. Like, oh my God, like everybody talks about like the love that you find out when you become a parent and you have a baby, but there's no explanation to it. Like right now my baby's at my in-laws and I'm like missing him like I haven't seen him in years, and it's only been 1 hour since I seen him. But anyways, that's my birth story. Thank you guys for following along. I know a lot of you guys messaged us through the pregnancy process, praying for us. We had some of our friends that had their whole church groups praying for us, so we're so thankful. Everything went great. I have like no regrets. Nowadays I don't have any guilt, but I felt like it was important to share that because it was some rough times. But everything is easier when you let God guide you through it 100%. Like, I don't know how I would have done it without him. But yes, that's my birth story. So stay tuned for our next episode. I know it's been a long time. Sorry guys, it's been crazy. But our next episode, I'm gonna talk a little bit about what happened a few weeks after that, his surgery, how everything went at that time, and how things are going now. And then in the next few episodes, we can be like up to date with like the new routine. I got a lot to tell you guys because my life has changed completely. I'm not even the same girl that was on these videos not 6 months ago. I think my last vlog was like 8 months ago. But anyways, thank you guys for following along. Thank you for all the prayers. To all the future mamas out there, or the mamas that are waiting to have their baby, I pray that you have an amazing delivery experience. And thank you guys for following along. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.